Welcome to the New Hampshire Progressive Coalition's TENtalk series. My name is Sherry Frost. I am the Vice Chair of the New Hampshire Progressive Coalition, and today I have the distinct honor of sitting down with Congressman Paul Hodes. Paul Hodes is a former U.S. Congressman. He served the New Hampshire 2nd District from 2007 to 2011. He is currently running for New Hampshire State Senate. He was the national co-chair in 2008 of Barack Obama's campaign, presidential campaign. And in his service as a congressman, he helped shepherd in Michelle's Law, which was the foundation that formed the provision in the ACA that allows children to stay on their parents' healthcare plan until the age of 26. And I was delighted to find that out because that affects my family. So thank you very much for that, Congressman.
Sure.
So the way TENtalks work is I give you 5 minutes to talk about anything that you want. It can be something that's happening in your campaign. You can talk about something that's happening in the news or something that occupies your thinking. There are no rules about this. You get to talk about anything you want. And then at the end of that 5 minutes, I get to ask you some silly questions that may or may not have anything to do with anything at all. So that being said, have the floor. It's all yours.
Thanks, Sherry. I'm really delighted to be with you and with everybody. I can't tell you how appreciative I am that the New Hampshire Progressive Coalition endorsed me. It's something I'm really, really proud of. And before I launch into what I want to say, I just want to remind folks that this coming Saturday at Diamond Hill Farm in Concord, New Hampshire, the Progressive Coalition and my campaign will sponsor a concert that my wife and daughter and I are playing for the Concord Coalition to End Homelessness. So I hope everybody comes out to have a great end of summer time and support a great cause. So I know I'm going to get silly questions, but I want to talk about something that I've been giving a lot of thought to, and that's, I think, a kind of deep and important issue. And it's about what is underneath the tribalism, the factionalism, the political dysfunction that we are experiencing. So here we are in 2020, 20 years in to the 21st century. And if you go back to the beginning of the 21st century, which is 20 years ago, and take us through some events, what I see is that as a society, the American people have suffered a trifecta of shocks to the system. They have been deep shocks and fundamental shocks that have really changed us as a society, and I'm not sure that we have really thought about them as connected in terms of where we are today. Because if we take us back in the Wayback Machine, I'm not sure where any of you were on 9/11. I remember watching the images and watching television that day and everything that followed. And it was a tremendous shock to our system because from that time on, from 9/11 on, we essentially were on a continual war footing. And it was a shock to our sense as Americans that we were invulnerable physically because we were breached, we were attacked. We were attacked by jihadist thugs with box cutters who perpetrated this horrible, horrible thing. But for us as a society, it took away our sense of physical invulnerability. And it put us on this war footing with the invasion of Iraq and violence nonstop on our television that was real, not imagined. The Iraqi war propelled me into Congress to try to do something about it. And fast forward now to 2007, 8, 9, when I was serving in Congress, we suffered a second tremendous shock. And that was the financial collapse, where the policies of the Bush administration had allowed Wall Street to run wild and completely undermine the global financial system, such that we all suffered an economic catastrophe. And all of a sudden, our sense of economic invulnerability was destroyed, gone. And the big banks prospered coming out of it. I tried, as a member of the Financial Services Committee, to make sure that homeowners were protected, but it didn't really sink in for homeowners that they were protected. And it took a long time for that recession for us to recover. Now, recover implies going back to something that was working, but really, we have an economic system that over the past 40 years has been ginned up to favor corporations and the wealthy, plain and simple. Our tax policies, our lobbying, the special interest money, whether state or federal, has really stacked it against 99+% of us. And that financial collapse only made, frankly, the rich people richer, the big banks bigger, but it hid, in a way, systemic dysfunction. It was the second big shock. And now, fast forward again, 2019, 2020. Here we are in the midst of this global pandemic, and we are being led by an incompetent, narcissistic, sociopathic authoritarian who will use any means to cheat and destroy our democracy. And so we have suffered these three great shocks. No wonder there's a general sense of despair. No wonder opioid and substance abuse are at record highs in New Hampshire. No wonder we're looking for big systemic change. We need it. But we are, as a society, we have been in a state of despair and dysfunction in the 20th century. And unfortunately, into a chaotic breach, authoritarians can march. So our job now, I'm afraid to say, is to be brave, be strong, be bold, and do everything in our power to stand up against authoritarianism, which is not the answer for what we need. We need progressive change. We need bold change. We need to deal with the root causes of what are wrong with our symptoms and recreate a democracy that works for all of us, not just those at the top. So that's my 5 minutes of diatribe, trying to help you connect what's going on underneath all this. Why is everybody so anxious? It's not just because of the pandemic. We've had these series of shocks, and now we need leadership that understands how much we need to do in terms of bold systemic change.
You and I are on the same page on all of it. Yep. I was talking to my older daughter, who is 23, and all of those things have happened in her lifetime.
Right. That's right.
So, you know,
think of all the 23-year-olds who have known nothing but a century of chaos, and this trifecta of shocks to the system.
Yep, exactly. There's a lot of work to do. We need to link arms and get it done.
There is.
All right. So you ready for something a little bit lighter?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with something fun. What's your favorite condiment?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. The first word that comes to mind is pickle relish, because I believe that pickle relish is the fundamental condiment for one of my favorite foods, which is hot dogs.
Okay.
So my hot dog is a puppy love hot dog. And I know I'm taking you from condiments to hot dogs.
That's okay.
It's a puppy love hot dog with hot, spicy mustard, pickle relish, barbecue sauce on the bottom, sauerkraut on top. That's it. That's my puppy love hot dog.
Okay. So this party that you're having next Saturday, are we going to have hot dogs?
I don't know. It's out at Diamond Hill Farm, so it's probably going to be organic food that's good for you. Now, I consider hot dogs a health food. Okay, let's just get it straight. Hot dogs are a health food.
All right then. Let's see. Do you believe that there's such a thing as a bad challenge?
A bad challenge?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in my sensitive New Age guide approach to life, I will tell you that every challenge is an opportunity for growth.
Right.
And so to that extent, there's no such thing as a bad challenge. there are just challenges. Now, without getting too racy, I'll say that for years, Pego and I had a button pinned to our bulletin board next to our refrigerator, and it was a round button and it had the red circle with a slash through it.
Yeah.
On it, it said AFGO, another effing growth opportunity. So that's my take on the challenge.
The challenges that make you roll your eyes.
That's right.
Here we
right.
go again.
Personal growth.
Really? Do we have to? Come on.
Must we go through this again?
Exactly. Let's see. What's one chore or task that you actually like doing?
Say that one more time.
A chore or a task that you actually like to do.
You know, I just vacuumed this morning, and I kind of like vacuuming. I mean, it's
really
like,
satisfying.
It's satisfying. You
Yeah.
can watch the dust disappear. It's kind of like qigong. You contort yourself. You know, to get under the bed, you have to do push-ups to get down under the bed. You're always taking the cord and unwrapping it from the hose. And I like vacuuming.
All right. You know what? I do too. It's funny that you say that. Let's see. What is your favorite thing to celebrate?
I really like, I like birthdays. I mean, I admit it. I like birthdays. It's such a, you know, at a certain age, it becomes kind of bittersweet, but I still love birthdays because you're celebrating, whether it's mine or anybody else's. I mean, Pego's birthday is a national holiday. Okay, let's be clear.
Okay.
I'm well managed. It's a national holiday. And so every year I make sure to make an appropriate fuss. And
Excellent.
So I like birthdays.
I do too. It's an opportunity to celebrate people in your life.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
What is something that you've never quite mastered?
Never quite mastered. Well, I will say this, that I have been playing guitar since I was 15 years old. And I'm a competent guitarist,
okay.
But I'm limited because I don't read music. And so I've been playing by ear and writing songs by ear since I was 15 and performing, and people, you know, often say, gee, you're a good guitar player. But I can tell you that there is so much I haven't mastered about the guitar, whether it's reading music or playing jazz. I'm not much of an organized jazz guitar player, and I'd like to be. But I love playing my guitar, but it's something I know that I will never master ever because it's just a continual learning experience.
Mm-hmm. I wondered about that. Do you need to be able to read music to?
Well, it would be nice because reading music is a whole other vocabulary that opens up worlds that I simply haven't been able to access. I mean, I do okay.
All right, last question. What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be an actor. And I was for a while. I was a professional actor. I was trained professionally at the Uta Hagen Herbert Berghoff studio in New York early on in my lifetime. And way back when I graduated from college, I appeared off Broadway in a show called What's a Nice Country Like You, doing in a state like this. And it was the Watergate era. So there were great songs like I'm Kissinger, I'm Kleindienst, I'm Klein, the three sauerkrauts from the Rhine. I had a great solo called A Mugger's Work is Never Done. I appeared in a film that's long lost to posterity. I also worked as a playwright, as a music director in theater. So I was headed for a career for theater. I actually had 8 careers in show business before I went to law school, and you know, had a kind of eccentric background. But I thought I would end up as an actor.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Hodes, Renaissance Man. This has been really fun.
Sure.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, Sherry, you know, great questions. Ones nobody's ever asked me. And you know what's really great is we've done these debates and forums, and everybody asks about issues. But you know, there's I'm in a primary, and there really isn't a lot of daylight between us on issues. But in terms of our background and what we bring to the job, and there's a lot to look at for candidates. So these questions are kind of cool and lots of fun. Not your usual political blah blah. So
that is precisely our job here, and we're trying to reveal the humans behind the policies. So thank you so much for taking the time. We wish you all the luck.
Thanks.
And I will see you next Saturday.
Oh, terrific. Well, I hope everybody comes out, and I hope it doesn't rain.
Me too.
Thanks so much.
Be well. Thank you.
Bye-bye.